I mean, and
I like him having this job, by the way. I hope he lasts.
I hope he
at least his whole term.
and
So you really
I actually hope he gets a second term.
I hope he keeps fucking shit up. Gets really just get more and more stupid
Oh my
shit.
God.
You know, brink of war, not war, but brink of war, stupid shit. Because I want, I do. I want stupid people, mostly white folks, to see this bullshit right up in their face.
And I wanted to affect them.
Roll up in their their fucking
and I
soccer
wanted
games
to
with their
affect
kids.
them the way shit has been affected.
I want
us.
them to be at a soccer match and feel this fucking thing. That's what I want. Because they deserve it. They've been too goddamn complicit. And I don't care if they've been Democrat, Republican, Independent. And this past, what's happening, and you guys probably hear it, I'm shutting up a lot more now. When I hear stuff, I'm just like, you know what? I'm not going to react to it or respond to it. I know how I think. I'm not a narrow-minded person. But one of the things that's probably been my blind spot through a good part of my life is that I've been sat on my hands, but I've tried to find a way to make peace or find a connection. You know what I mean? I've tried to get white folks to see, look, but I'm done doing that. And so now I literally want them to feel the fucking pain.
You know what? And
I went on an appointment. Let me say this now, shut up. I went on an appointment, and Eric will tell you that I'm so anal. I mean, I'm like, my shit, when he teases about me rearranging the salt shakers and all that, he's not exaggerating. So when I go on appointments, my shit is tight.
Tight?
Really tight. And this motherfucker wanted to play this game like he wanted to still, he's the third time we've met, and he still wanted to check some things out. And I looked at him, I said, you may not like but there's no other reason at this point that we're not doing business than because of me and the color of my skin. Thanks, man.
Thank you.
You know what? We love it when you're here.
We do. We absolutely do.
Because ain't nobody browbeat.
My son did do his apartment already.
You still got us live on the feed.
Pizza? Yeah. Oh, he already had a party?
It is delayed, though.
He already had a party?
Huh?
He already had a party?
Nah, it's just he's been fucking shit up all by himself.
So he don't need your help. You don't need. Yeah.
What that boy did to his apartment already?
So trust, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm just saying that's kind of where I am. I'm no longer.
Mercy. But the thing is now he got to clean it up.
Yeah, you missed the front part of this. We were talking about this. I said, how is he doing? Blah blah blah. And Eric was like,
man,
be fine.
Damn. Oh my God. Hitting on all cylinders.
Man, you sure you ain't got a date tonight?
My date is about to be with the game tonight.
I was like,
all cylinders. I love it.
Yeah.
All cylinders.
Yeah, I was like,
that
whoa.
was yeah. All cylinders. Wherever you found that at, find some more.
Oh, I got plenty.
I know you do.
That's what I do. Actually, I make playlists for people. Like people hit me up to make playlists for them. Like that's what I do. That's cool.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
DJ, aka.
There you go.
Oh,
formerly both.
Who's your cool? Angel.
Yeah, oh, did you look up Don Lemon and what he said?
I sent myself an email to look at it tonight on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm just so done with folks and trying to get them to see. For instance, I had a conversation with someone today. It was we talked about when humanity stepped in. At what point in our history did humanity step in, or did it ever step in, or were there periodic times when humanity stepped in and then it stepped the fuck back out? For instance,
Civil rights movement.
Civil rights. Go back. When
further?
Lincoln. Humanity stepped in.
Yeah.
Lincoln freed the slaves. Then it stepped the fuck back out because then they started using that.
Actually, you know, he didn't free the slaves. He confiscated.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, the books will say he slowed it down, if you will.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, he confiscated them as property.
Okay.
I'm being like him now.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was a time when humanity stepped in and then stepped the fuck back out.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with civil rights movement. Humanity stepped in and then it stepped back
And
out.
one could say,
And we go through these bouts of periods in time and in history where we'll see these things happen. And that's where we're at now. We saw some humanity step in and it stepped the fuck back out. I see periodic glimpses of humanity trying to step back in. People slamming the door on humanity right now.
there's an article that
Right,
Jerry.
it's like an infection. They just treat it and
Yeah,
then move on.
yeah, treat it, move on. And then when it gets real, they didn't really
like
fix
no other
it.
like no other
Mhm.
time before.
They just put a band-aid on it.
Right.
And then the got infected again, and now we back at the same spot.
This is a really simple situation or discussion as to what's going on. White America, white people on this continent have always been this way. They haven't suddenly gotten worse. They've always been this way. From the very first time they set foot on this continent, they've always been this way. One of the things that I tell black people to do, and I don't want to sound like whatever, but I'd say this often with black folks. One of the reasons I like to leave the country and go other than to the Caribbean, I love the Caribbean. One of the reasons I like to go to Europe specifically
Mm-hmm.
is because I like to go to the homeland, quote unquote, of the immigrants that are white immigrants in America, so that I can see what took place in that quote unquote country that they were, or their ancestors were born in. They've always been this way. When they came to what is now the United States of America, it just evolved. It just became bigger. And because of slavery and their ability to then control people in mass, then that personality disorder just got out of hand. And that's why we are where we are today. White people have always been this way.
Would you call our after show feed something else? Because remember, boy said he can't see our after show feed.
And
I don't know, but it's on now.
and that's
I know.
and that's
I'm
not
telling them, because we still got 24 people watching us on the regular feed. I'm telling them now to log out of this feed and go to our after show.
and that's not
Right.
a racist statement at all. That's a statement about anthropology. The people who are viewed as
Anthropological thing.
white think about that consider themselves to be white Americans. That's how they've been. They've always been that way since they descended on this country. If you watch them, there's a TV show that I stopped watching I watched it for one season with Anne called Outlander, and it was about this woman who goes back in time. She meets this guy, blah blah blah. The guy who was the English king regularly would whip any of the people, white people, that were part of his kingdom. It's passed forward to the U.S. Beating, enslaving people has been part of what many Europeans used in countries in Europe for centuries, before this country was even formed. The Catholic Church, another organization that's top down, that's always been about punishing people and controlling people's destiny. So
What my son did to his
there's
apartment
no
already.
surprises to me now.
Control and power, which is much like what I
Swipe it
talked
the other
about
way, you
earlier.
see what it looked like before.
You know,
Yeah.
it seems to me that
What was it before?
when we talk about,
After?
that's
Wow,
what
that
it
is
was like
really
before.
bad. That is really
All
bad.
he had was some food on the counter. Don't bemoan the boy.
He had an iron on the
24
sink.
hours.
He was breaking it in.
There's an iron on the sink. You iron in the kitchen?
They don't know.
You iron in the kitchen?
Not
He ain't got no
since I
furniture.
had-
All you got is air mattress now.
Since I had
So
a
the iron
studio
gotta be on
apartment.
the sink.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I had a studio apartment 30
Yeah,
years
man.
ago, and I would iron because it was where flat as surface. But I hear your point.
Is he a clean person? Oh, well.
Well,
be
no
surprised.
surprise. Yeah, right. Eric had me cracking up earlier this year. Both of the boys got sick.
Mhm.
They both had the flu, and they were just ugly.
Yeah.
And he's like, and he said, Rich, he said, man, my house is a disaster. He said they both are sick. They ain't showered in 3 days.
You gotta sleep outside,
They were
huh?
throwing up.
Had to sleep in the car in the driveway.
He said it was really bad. It's a fire hazard zone. But no, I mean
Emitting things from all orifices of their body.
yeah. That's why I am not any longer plussed about any of this. Because I had to stop and say, wait a minute, this isn't new. These stories aren't new. These actions aren't new.
It's just being filmed.
It's just being filmed.
Mhm.
This has been. I mean, come on. I'm the oldest person in the room. Why am I sitting here going? I'm surprised. Oh my God, I can't believe this. No.
Right.
A carload of white boys in a truck chased me and Michael Martin home from a basketball game in 1977. 77.
He's still looking for your ass.
Okay.
Where those Negroes go?
Right.
They run so fast,
You know. So I mean, that nothing's changed and nothing's new. It's just,
I don't think we're trying to change that part of it.
what do you mean? Trying to change?
We're not trying to change or stop white people from doing that as
Right.
much as because there's laws and things in place that would stop that in and of itself if they're enforced the way they should be. Our job right now is to bring what we see to the forefront and make more people aware that this shit has been happening all along.
That's what's happening. See, this is the double-edged sword. That's what's happening now. It's being filmed. It's being played out. There are channels, literally, where it's out there. The problem is, white America today is they're being forced to see it, and they don't want to deal with the fact that they've known. They're not. I'm not going to say
They're
white folks.
making issues out of you posting violent videos.
I mean, I
They're
agree.
not stupid.
I agree.
They're not stupid. They
agree.
know that.
I mean, if you got
they know
5
what's in
people
their
sitting
heart.
around.
Trust it. They know what's in their heart and in their mind. It's been there since they were a little kid, and it taught into them by their racist parents and sexist and misogynist parents. It's now all that stuff that's been going on in their system for 20 or 30 years, 40 years, 50 years as an adult. It's just being filmed now. It's out there.
Most of the effort they're exerting is to keep you from presenting it.
Thank you. That's all it is.
Versus
And we as
dealing with
black people, people of color, and white folks who are woke need to go, no more fucking bullshit. You've been this way all your goddamn life. We can't be surprised. We have to stop being surprised.
Well, we aren't surprised.
No, I know. And what we have to do is say, I told you.
Yeah, we've been telling y'all this.
We've been telling you this. Stop trying to bullshit me now and saying that it didn't exist.
But you're not going to change it.
I'm not trying to change it. I'm just saying, get out of my face about trying to tell me I was crazy for saying that we had this issue. Like the guy that called in and said that, the race car thing. I was like, really? I had to shut up. I'm glad Eric gave me because he could see I was boiling on that one. Really? Well, then why don't you just join the fucking Republican Party, Jim? Kiss my ass. Just join the Republican Party because the shit that just came out of your mouth.
Well, the Democrats need to be penalized if they do that same game.
Because they are missing. There's a whole big message that the Democrats could be carrying right now, and they're not. They're not carrying the message.
Do you know why the white Democratic leadership isn't carrying that message? Because they're worried about pissing off the white middle of the road Democrats. They don't want to take this message back to their districts and say, you know what, we got some serious racial problems in our country. And I need you as my white neighbor to step up. They're afraid to do that. The Democrats in leadership are afraid to take that message home and say, we got problems. You all need to step up. Because I can't fight this battle if you're not behind me. They're afraid to do it. Eric said
they need to lose.
Eric's been saying this for months now, and it just hit me with this most
Well,
recent
this
crap.
was it.
Like,
This
wait a
was
minute.
them losing. This was them losing, and they're still not picking
How
up
in
the
the
message.
hell are they so damn stupid to not get out with these messages, create a message, defy this motherfucker with the red hair, because they're worried about going home and having to tell their constituents, this is what we're going to do. There's nobody taking a lead. There's nobody taking, this is the message.
The bigger issue, I think, is they're not addressing the business case. We have a segment of our population who doesn't vote readily, and we can get out to vote for us, and really have heavily.
How many times Eric said that?
And the economic opportunity to empower these people is immense.
Huge. Just like the mother that said that we got all these veterans that could be working and we could
Making them sentinels for the school.
right, sentinels for the schools. Not arming them with knowledge and an opportunity to make them feel proud and they serve the country. Now you go serve our kids.
Yeah.
But these motherfuckers are too goddamn stupid to take that and build it into an economic case, just like Eric said.
That's why they're gonna lose. That's why that dude's gonna get reelected.
I'm telling you, trust me, the last couple of weeks, I've been sitting back going, you know what? How much my life, and for that, I say my life as a black person, I say that for all black people as much as I can say it. If we lose the midterms and he gets reelected in 2020, how much more shit are we gonna really have to deal with? It ain't like this ain't new to us. I don't want that.
For us, I mean, I know what you're saying.
I don't want that.
You're right.
But you know, there's some soft white people out there that need to get their ass burned right now. I'm just sorry. I'm not sorry. That's
the
just
fucking
the truth.
is coming. The fucking has already started. Trump had his dick out for a long time.
With no KY joke.
With no KY.
Yeah, but how though?
Huh?
I don't really see him doing anything.
No.
The trade wars that he done started.
Doesn't affect us.
We're
talking about us.
Eric, his dick out.
Eric, hold on a second.
His dick out, y'all.
I wrote my notes.
Standing around
2018 down. 11 days it's been down. Where are the jobs, motherfuckers? You voted for them? Okay, fine. Like you said about, Verlon, you go write the check. The Department of Justice, in terms of a permanent interest. Okay, so white folks hold most of the jobs in corporate America, right? So if you can't litigate for lost wages, you all are getting fucked more percentage-wise and real numbers than we are. True. But you ain't stepping up to none of these motherfuckers.
They don't realize. Maybe they don't realize that. And maybe this is what's gonna need to happen to make them realize that.
That's why this shit's they're the ones that are gonna get hurt the most.
Got it.
And he hasn't really. Is that kind of getting screwed now?
They
won't really get screwed until after he gets reelected.
Or if the midterms don't happen.
Because then he don't care. Because he can't get reelected no more.
Well, no, he don't care, and more importantly,
he can't get nothing done to him.
Right, but here's the thing: at that point, he's gonna be a fucking wrecking ball because wait, it's gonna start in the midterms. If the Dems don't get one of the two chambers, and some other stuff, he's gonna be a fucking wrecking ball because then he's gonna say, "Well, my people came out for me," and he's basically gonna
call it a mandate.
Yeah. Thank you, Eric. Couldn't get the words out. That's what he's gonna call it.
Yeah.
And he's gonna tell everybody to kiss his ass. Because at that point, even if Mueller says he was fucking his daughter in, the back of the limousine, ain't nobody gonna give a shit. Because we can't do it, guys. If the Dems don't have a message that's a cogent message to
and
get
that's
people
the
out
message I'm talking about.
midterm.
They should be carrying right now. Is that
They're too
not.
fucking scared.
They're not.
They're too fucking scared to say, look, this is what we got to do. Because they don't want to go back to their districts and tell white people, you know what?
And are they just assuming that people have seen enough and are going to make some changes?
I don't know what they're doing, Tressa, but I know this. They ain't going back there. About a month ago, Eric said, well, if their message is so strong, and I had to stop and listen to what he said. I was driving home and going, you know what? I want to be down with the Dems on this, but yeah, if their message was that powerful, it would be in our faces right now. Why wait till the last 90 days? Put that shit out there now. And they're not doing it. They're reacting. Every time some more shiny objects get thrown out there, they're fucking reacting.
Tweet or something.
Yeah, rather than saying, you know what, somebody on the Democratic side, Tressa, needs to walk to the mic and say, Donald Trump can kiss my ass. A Democrat needs to take the risk to walk to the mic and say, this president is a joke. Maxine Waters has tried, and you know what?
Maxine.
And you know what's happened?
She's really been the only one.
Too many.
How come Kamala ain't did nothing like that?
She might
step up too.
She might be saving a little bit of hers because she's gonna run. Maxine
can't save it, man. It's fourth quarter.
No. I'm not justifying it. I'm just trying to explain. She might be saving it because there is another plan for what she's gonna do.
I hope she don't. I hope she don't. I really do.
I agree.
I really do.
Right now,
she don't.
Look. We got a voice. What the Congressional Black Caucus at?
Your boy, the Black Caucus is doing his thing.
Who?
The cat from New Orleans. He was on the news the other day. So he's purposely dressing down now, so he can be a regular-looking brother on the streets and show people how black people get treated. I forget his name. I can't remember the brother's name. He's congressman from New Orleans.
A lot of that needs to be going on.
But trust me, that's where it's like a light bulb went off or a light switch went off for me about a month and a half ago. And maybe it had something to do with my mom passing, and when I went down to Mississippi, because I was looking around, going, I can't fucking believe this shit. I'm looking around at the Southern blacks and going, okay, but I understand why. And they're in this. They're forced to live in this kind of, and it's not their fault necessarily because they were forced over centuries to be a part of this bullshit. And there was a moment where I felt a little bit of guilt, like this northern black person who for over years has never understood why there's that disconnect. Yeah. And then it hit me after when I went down for my funeral.
Yeah. I remember having to go visit my grandparents when we were kids, and my cousins and stuff would always be. If a white person said something to them, they would always be so.
Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, I'm listening.
You know, they would always be so accommodating and everything, and
and
then when they would say something to me, I would, in my northern, voice, speak very properly, and say something. Oh, well, I just believe that I'm a human being, and I'm not gonna sit up and you're not gonna talk to me any old kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
That's just not gonna happen.
Well, Ann, this is part of it. What for me is Ann said to me, we went down, and we've been down 3 times with Mom passed. But when we went down for the funeral, there were people who were attending to us because of the, all the stuff that surrounds the funeral. Mm-hmm. And Ann said to me in the car, she said, does it ever get irritating to have everybody say yes sir and yes ma'am to you? And I said, I kind of like have it over here. And then I paused and I said, but yeah, it does after a while, because you start to think this is bullshit. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And she said, yeah, especially, she said, it's just weird for me as a white person to hear a black person say yes sir and yes ma'am to you as a black man. She said, it's just really weird. She said, it doesn't make it right that they would say it to me, but it's just weird that they would say it to you. And I said, unfortunately, it's that ongoing brainwashing. And she said, how do you deal with that? And I said, it's hard sometimes. I said, but in a bigger picture, I said, that's what white America has done to this part of, our country. And she said, yeah, I couldn't come up with that word at the time, but I just said that's what white America has done. Mm-hmm. Now, whether one agrees with my assertions or observations or not, I'm taking that on a bigger scale and going, right now, where white America is about to be, because they're the largest voting bloc, no doubt about that. We've had our opportunities, like in Alabama, where black folks showed up and made the case. Black women showed up and made the case. Black men showed up too, but not to the extent that black women did the work to get folks out. Because black women were getting white folks out to vote.
So here's the blind spot, though. If they're successful at characterizing their failures, the Republicans' failures, on the fact that Mexicans are invading and black folks are doing this and that, those middle of the road white folks will fall for the okie doke.
Yeah, they will. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. And that's the message right now. The message isn't about the economy. The message is that I've heard some of the white talking heads, Republican talking heads. The message isn't about the economy. The message isn't about any of that stuff. It's not about North Korea. It's about
otherism.
It's otherism. How can we make black folks once again the enemy and the growing Hispanic population?
Yeah, but that might be the conversation amongst us. That's not the conversation amongst millennials. And that's not a conversation amongst the people who are just graduated from college with $100,000+ in debt. They are all concerned about the economy.
I understand, but also, look, Tressa, white Republican narrow-mindedness has got their message laser focused on making sure that white folks over the age of 40 get out the vote.
Yeah, but the white folks over the age of 40 don't outnumber the young people under the age of 20.
At the same time, in states where they're growing millennial populations with money, what's the number one thing that they're doing in those states? Enacting or trying to enact more voter suppression. It's being directed less toward us and more toward millennials because of what you said in your first sentence. That is verifiable. They know that. They know that millennials, 74 million strong, could flip this election in both chambers federally.
Exactly.
What are they doing? they are making sure that the block of 40 and older white folks who are going to vote Republican or in the middle do just that. And at the same time in the states, mark my words, and you can Google it, the states where there's the highest number of millennials that have become employed and graduated from college, they're working very hard to suppress them from voting. Because the numbers don't lie. I mean, it's math, like Eric always said.
Game time, y'all.
So they doing it to their own now.
There you go.
Yep.
Okay.
They are.